All right. So, looking for Monday, March 16th, halfway through, and we're still in this range going back to last September. But it looks like we are starting to try and make attempts to break down and break out of it. I'm not going to be too eager to start calling shorts below that, but if we begin losing the support realistically below 24.3, I think we may have a good tendency to go much lower down to 23.775, even further down to 23.6. But for me, it would probably have to show a continual and steady decline through this old resistance and all these long supports that really drove the market all the way back up to the top almost each time, except for back in here. That is still consistent in the 4-hour, the range that we're in. We're just in the bottom portion of it. And then on the hour, you can see we have been steadily declining all last week, putting in lower highs and lower lows. We did have this gap down and break, but sellers were unable to continue that selling downward before the bull stepped back up and brought it right back up at the top of the range. So with that, if I start adding my indicators, giving me a little indication of where we might go today, it's looking like a day of patience. I'll remove these temporarily here. Again, this is really more for me, as no one's actually listening to this channel or anything like that. This is just me saying, hey, I do work a full-time job. My trading hours are usually somewhere between 9:30 and 11. Sometimes I take pre-market trades. I try not to. Today, it looks like a pre-market trade could potentially be sitting up if that VWAP loses itself, but let's get rid of my drawings. And see right here, we can tell without even having any of my lines put in here, you can see we're sort of in the middle of Friday's range, which tells me I just need to be patient. I don't think any longs are in play until we're realistically above at least the value area high of Friday, which you'll see here momentarily. At the very least, got to get back above and hold above the 50 EMA here, this white line at 24,585, before I would start considering longs, and then I'd begin targeting Friday's high of day. As for shorts, pretty basic for me. We're still above Friday's low of day as well as value area low. We're holding this VWAP, so I want to see this VWAP give up. That would then also give up the overnight value area low if you're doing pre-market, see it retest the VWAP and then begin to come down, at which point you can then target the lows here around 24,276.50. And again, this is on the NQ futures. If I start, well, before I do that, let's check the other EMAs. I don't plan on trading until market, but in case I change my mind later, I look at the 15. The 15's messy. I don't trade when the EMAs are all clustered together. Usually just means you have some tendency to chop up for a little bit and you're not really getting good momentum. I more clearly like when I have good separation between the EMAs. It just gives me personal confidence that if I get into the trade, ideally it moves quickly and swiftly. Looking at the 5, 5 is the same thing. It is just a mess, tangled web of EMAs there all clustered up, 2 and probably even the 1. Yeah, so there's no trading here. I mean, which is kind of nice. I can step away, do some other things. Even though you're getting this nice move, where do you start judging this move at? I don't know. I mean, I guess you could take the VWAP move, but look at what you're fighting. You're just fighting in a whole entire overnight session of nothing. But maybe this is the beginning. Maybe VWAP breaks out and it starts working its way up. I just don't know. It does look like at one point, with the end of this hour candle, a nice bear flag was setting up to go lower, but now suddenly we are holding, at least in the temporary, we're holding this VWAP, reclaiming the 14-minute EMA, but we're just in between the 14 and 50. And again, I'm just not a fan of that, at least of trading that. Now, if I add my indicators, it looks messy for a second, but just in case anyone's seeing this, this is really just obstacles that are in my way or things I look out for before I take a trade. So now that we've kind of cleared out the 1 hour, drop down to the 15, and you can see here on the 15 that we're inside Friday's value area high, value area low, inside the range as well. So As what brigade trade call it, it's a day of patience, P for patience, right all the way across the board until something happens. To me, it looks like, for the most part, easy longs, or at least more longs with higher conviction rates are going to be above Friday's value area high. If we can come up here, break the current overnight high, reclaim and show strength above the weekly value area low and Friday's value area high, then I think we have a good chance that we might see Friday's highs. And if we're going to continue lower, do note that this large block here is a huge support system that has been going back now. Well, realistically, it's been going back since October of last year. So do be careful with that. But we are starting to do a continuous trend of lower highs and lower lows. So if I'm going to be looking for shorts, at the very least, I am going to wait for that VWAP break. Looks like our current overnight value area low is somewhere right around 24,470. We want that retested, and we want to see no strength from the bull that's coming back. And then I think we can potentially test the lows, and then one of the going all the way back to I don't know when low wicks at 242. Let's see where that one is. So this low wick is the low wick from February 5th, which is possible, and even lower. But hell, that's a decent trade right there if that one takes place. So it looks like I can rest and relax with any pre-market trading unless something massive happens. Go down to the 5. Basically, inside these two boxes, I am not heavily interested in trading. It's just a little bit rangy. I don't personally do extremely well at ranges. I would like to think I can. It should be easy, right? You sell the highs, you buy the lows. But I always tend to do it right when it decides that it's done with the range, and it breaks out very quickly. So I've just said, you know what? Ranges are not my thing. I'll just stick with breakouts and retests and go from there. So that's my little bit of analysis for the day. We'll see how it plays out, getting closer to 9:30. Right now, I would say this method has been working. If we look here, I started these two Apex accounts. So this is a combination of two Apex accounts going back just 1 month from last Friday. And over that 1 month, I have yet to have an actual red day. I've had red trades, as you can see here. I've had plenty of them. Two pretty severe ones that turned on me in a matter of seconds. We had on March 4th and on March 6th, I had two trades that quickly went from in the money by a few dollars to I was down 1,000 in probably 20, 30 seconds, and then I just let it go at the end of the candle. I flipped it with the volatility and the strength that it showed against me. I just flipped the trade over, allowed it to run, get back in profit, then I closed those out for the day and walked away. But hey, not bad. 1 month per account, so we're sitting at just shy of 6,500 per account. These are 150K accounts, so hopefully I'll be able to close these accounts out and go into be done with the evals here, ideally this week or next. Again, working full time. As you can see, I don't get a lot of trades. I get maybe one, maybe two per day, and I think the highest amount on the 16th I had 10 trades, which I scaled in, scaled out, so that was probably more like 3 trades. And I do remember, I think I did have 5 trades here, a couple trades. Oh no, look at that. I had 1, 2, I had 3 trades. So yeah, overall I'm getting what on average we'll call it 2 trades per day. But not bad. I would say not bad at all. I have blown numerous accounts. I have blown numerous cash accounts as well. So hopefully this time I'm done doing that. I did bump up from 50K to 150K Apex accounts, which does help me a little bit. I just trade 1 NQ contract. And if I can, I'll scale in with a second. Rarely, I think other than one time, have I done a third, but primarily 1 contract in and out. I kind of shoot for about $300 if I can get it, and that's great. You can see I do need to work on my average win-loss because I'm getting really solid here, but when I get those couple losses, they're of decent size. As you can see here, on the 13th, for instance, I had a 900, but like I lost 5 and I lost 7. I had a 9. You don't really want to see that. I'm trying to figure out the bad day here. Let's go over to March 6th. On March 6th. Yeah, see, that doesn't look good. You don't want a day like that. You look here. I went short, and I think in 45 seconds I was down $1,600. That's crazy. That was just one contract. I was up 190. I lose 1,600. I flipped it long. Almost brought myself back to even. I think I was down $65. I remember that. I should have walked away at that point, but I was going on a streak of not having any red days. So I went for one more long, and I secured another $330 on both accounts to give me a decent day. But the losses are too big. I don't want to see these losses. I don't mind losing a couple $100, but there should be no reason that if my average on 2 accounts is in the 5s, 4s, 5s, 6s, I should not be losing $1,600 per account. That's $3,200. That's madness. So see if I can work this week. That's my goal, is to get my average win-loss cleaned up. So let's see how I do, and that's all I got.